Hello, and welcome back to episode 3 of the Emerging podcast, which is very exciting for me because I'm doing it. I'm continuing to make the commitment to showing up and recording. Today I'm going to do it a little bit different. Sorry, I have like a rogue hair and I can't find it, and the girlies know. Oh, there we go. Found it. So annoying. Anywho, we digress. So yeah, today's episode 3, and I'm just gonna riff today. There's no notes. I'm just gonna kind of see what happens and go with the flow and talk from the heart. And it's funny. There's been a lot of signs and synchronicities in my life, especially in the last 24 hours. For example, yesterday, I was sitting here doing my EFT tapping with Miss Haley Hoffman-Smith from Dream Away, and I looked out on my lanai and I saw a little gecko, and I looked up the meaning in my Animal Speak book, and it basically was kind of talking about psychic intuition, and kind of the veil between the two, the subconscious and the conscious and the subconscious. And it said the keynote is sedibly I can't say the word, of perception. Yeah, and I guess just kind of, I don't know. Again, we're riffing, so sorry. But the last paragraph says, like most reptiles, a lizard will often bask in the sun. It is cold-blooded and it needs the warmth of the sun to stay warm. This basking is often is a feigned sleep, and it serves as a secondary purpose of fooling insects that may mistakenly come too close. The ability of feigning sleep while basking in the sun is something related to controlling the sleep state, especially dreams. Lizard, as mentioned earlier, is the totem that can help us understand this state more effectively. Yeah. And it also says, all of these characteristics give it symbolism associated with the psychic and the intuitive. The ability to perceive subtle movement, physical and ethereal, waking or sleeping, is what lizard medicine teaches us. To some within the Native American tradition, the lizard is associated with dream time. Dreams contain some of the subtlest perceptions of the mind of which we may not be conscious. They are translated to us through dreams to make us more conscious. These can be fears or foreshadowings, but almost always they are the things to which we do not pay attention to. So with a lizard totem, should listen to their intuition over anyone else's. Lizards usually reflects heightened sensitivity. You may feel what others may not. You may also see things that others may miss. You will hear things that are not being said, no matter how strange it may seem. Learning to follow those perceptions is what will enable you to succeed most frequently. And that's kind of been an underlying theme of this podcast thus far, is following my intuition and letting the path emerge for me and just seeing where it takes me and trusting my path and my gut and my intuition, which is also what led me to Hawaii and all of these moves that I've done over the past 13 years, which is pretty crazy to think about. And I was listening to a podcast recently. It was Mayim Bialik, Let's Break It Down, or The Breakdown. I forget the exact name. And she was interviewing Lee Harris, who it channels. And there was something that he said about how the world makes no sense. That the world is kind of black and white until you put spirit into it, and that adds the color. And that really spoke to me because I really love spirituality and signs and synchronicities, and kind of the woo side of things. Like, I love math and science, don't get me wrong, but I also have very much fallen in love with the gray area and using crystals, and cards, and having books like this. I've also got my A Course in Miracles book that I have. I've had this book since, I don't know, maybe 2015. So I've looked at this book on all of my moves, basically, throughout the country. And I was just reading a passage from it, and it was also talking about dreams and how we don't often realize that we are the author of our dreams and the creator. And so signs and synchronicities. So for example, the lizard. So I saw the gecko on my lanai, and it was lumped into the lizard and gecko portion of this book. And then I go to work last night, and I'm dropping food off to a different table, and this Aussie table, and the little sweet little boy caught a baby little gecko and was holding it in his hand and was showing it to me. I'm like, that's fucking hilarious. And then I get home from work last night, and there were like 3 geckos on my fucking door. Sorry for all the cussing. I just getting excited. And then I just got home and was moving Rapunzel to add a little greenery. And there is another gecko in my apartment. And yeah, I know I live in Hawaii, and there's a lot of nature and geckos and lizards and whatnot, but I've never seen that many. And it was just interesting that I happened to look it up, and then the universe kept showing it to me, basically telling me to pay attention. And then also, interestingly enough, one of my ex-boyfriends was in the restaurant with his mother, and she was visiting, and they were sitting at the table next to my section, and I have not crossed paths with him in a while, and it was just funny that happened. And before that, on my way to work, I saw his friend. And then just now, I went for my walk, my morning walk, and ran into another guy that I was dating. And they both taught me important lessons through dating them. Just kind of like forcing me to get my shit together, and like that I wasn't ready to date, and that I really needed to like focus on me and just kind of like, level up, I guess, and go after my dreams. And it was funny because the one that I ran into this morning, I waited on his, like, he sells timeshares, and he tried to recruit me before, and I just was like, no, I'm not interested. So again, back to our last episode with boundaries and saying no. And momentum. And I was like, so I ran it, circling back, slow down, Brooke. So I waited on his, the woman who does like the marketing director, whatever. She's like one of the top dogs over there. And people have approached me before and tried to recruit me. And I waited on her and her friend a few weeks ago, and then they were back in the restaurant, and I waited on them again. And she was like, oh my God, we literally were just talking about you. Like, we thought you were great, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, your personality would honestly be amazing for this. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I don't want to do it. And I don't mean that in like a cocky way. But I have that performative, right? That Leo moon of me, the Aries, the fire, that's yeah, that people see that light and they want it. And I shyly told her, well, no, podcasting's my thing. But the funny thing is I hadn't started recording yet. So how can I? And she was just like, well, yeah, but like this job you can make more money, and like definitely way more money than you're making now at the restaurant, and then you can still podcast. And I was just like, and then I was like, and that whole shift, I genuinely was like fully considering it, even though my gut instinct, again back to my human design, that splenic intuition decision making, is I need to trust my first instinct. And I told her no, and then I was like letting other people's thoughts and opinions get into my head and try to influence me, and like me going after the shiny object of like the money, which I've never been money driven. I've actually been very much money resistant, because of the way I grew up. And it felt like a lot of people that I was surrounded by were just like chasing the money, but like only for the accolades, not because of the possibility. And I remember saying as a child that I was going to be a millionaire someday, because there's a million ways to make $1 million. You just have to pick one. And a lot of people have scoffed at me and like, yeah, like, oh, wouldn't that be nice? Or like looking at my current situation or my past decisions and trajectory of this path, it doesn't look like that would happen. But I know deep within me that if I want to make something happen and create, then I can do it. But it's not about the money for me. It's about creating a life that I love and that I'm building by design, which I get that phrase from James Wedmore, excuse me, who has the podcast Mind Your Business podcast, and has BBD, which is Business by Design. And he always says, you know, like, create, like, it's like the Legos, like you have the instruction manual, like there's all this information out there, but what are you going to do with that information to build the life that you want and that you've created specifically for you and not for anybody else? Because that's the beauty of life, is that we all have different desires, we all have different wishes, and like that's what makes this world go round. And I've had all of this information for so long and have had access with it, but there's something in me, the subconscious block that was stuck in me, which I recently have discovered was the fear of being visible. And I had a visibility wound, which I discovered that through this Dream Away thing that I'm a part of. This not just thing, Dream Away community, and one of the more recent EFT sessions was on visibility wound and fear of abandonment. And I did that, and it has unlocked so much in just a few weeks. And I have gone back and redone that same session, I don't know, like 5 or 6 times. And it's just really cool to like start seeing that exponential growth, like starting to compound, and like seeing how if you stay committed, like again, the momentum, and stay focused and work on it, that you can grow this beautiful life. And just like setting yourself up for success, which kind of like talking in circles or jumping around and kind of having squirrel moments, but fuck it. I'm speaking from the heart. Like an example at work is we have a new general manager, we have a new assistant general manager, and they're tasked with righting the ship. And it's a big ship that we're on. There's, I believe, over 300 employees. And it takes time to change the culture. It takes time to see things move, but it starts with being committed to the mission, which he is fully committed to the mission, and I totally respect it and his leadership. I used to be a manager for a and I've been in leadership positions before, and it's something I'm super passionate about, and that's like kind of part of why I want to be my own boss and like create a company that I want, because I've been in leadership positions for my gifts and my talents, but then I wasn't able to use my gifts and my talents in the way that I wanted to because it wasn't my company. And that's something that I struggled with. And that's why I'm no longer in those positions, is because I couldn't do it my way and like the way that I thought that it would work. And I don't say that in a way of like being cocky, like I know it all, but there's a reason that I was hired for those positions. Like there's something that my bosses saw in me that wanted to put me in leadership positions. I mean, I was managing like a multi-million-dollar, it was like the revenue was, I think, like $3 to $4 million store of retail at the age of 24. Like I was a baby, and now I'm 34. Like 10 years has passed since then, and I have grown and developed, and yeah. And so anywho, tangent. So like with work, they started talking about how that things were going to be changing. Obviously, like the restaurant needed to be shaken up. There was a lot of people that were comfortable. There's a lot of stuff that was being, stuff was sliding through the cracks, and there wasn't a lot of accountability just on like the basic stuff. Like for example, earrings. Like I like to wear fun, dangly earrings, and part of dress code is that we can't wear these earrings. They have to be studs and like smaller, more conservative earrings. And I was like, okay. And then I saw other girls wearing dangly earrings. So I thought, oh, they don't actually care. Like it's one of those rules that's like a rule, but whatever. And then I would wear them, and my boss would be like, Miss Todd. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Why are you, like, it felt like I was being singled out, but it was because he wasn't withholding the standard to everybody else that I felt like I was being singled out. And because I have that showiness about me, that light, that I find I'm an easy target for when I do things wrong, or I'm doing things that other people can get away with. And yeah. And so, and then I was like, okay, you know what? Like, I'm just going to play by the game. And the reality is that, yes, there are things that I don't agree with, but I signed up to be there. I'm a part of that team. And if I want to be a part of that team, then I want to be a good teammate. And I have really stepped up my game, especially this last month. And part of with getting sober and taking a break from Miss Mary Jane, if I'm going to be there, I want to fucking be there. And not because I feel like I need to win Employee of the Month, which, yeah, obviously I would love to. I would love that recognition. But I want to be a good teammate because it trickles out and it affects everybody else. And if I'm going to be like, I'm kind of one of those people that's just a leader naturally, and my teammates are going to see that and hopefully be inspired by it and not just like knock me down and have that tall poppy syndrome. Sorry, leaf blowers or gardeners or whatever. But I've shown, and it's been working, and I've been making more money, which is super cool. Like the 3D has been aligning with that. And like, if we're out of bread, instead of sitting there and fucking bitching about it, I just go into the back and help the guy out and grab the fucking bread. Or like, just doing, like, if I need something, then I need to set myself up for success and not rely on somebody else to do it for me. Yeah, it may be their job, but guess what? There are things in my job that sometimes I need help. Like last night, I had to take a bathroom break, and I was like the furthest out from the employee restroom, so it takes a while, and every time you go back into the kitchen, you have to leave with full hands out. Like, it's this whole thing, and that I need to play by the game. And thankfully, my coworker was helpful, and she took the order for the table for me and put it in. Like, so, like, if you want your back scratched, then you need to be willing to scratch other people's backs. And, like, where in your life can you get your own back scratcher and help yourself? Like, so this morning I woke up, I didn't go to bed until like 2 o'clock after work, and 2 o'clock in the morning, and because I was scrolling on my phone, which is something I also need to work on. And then I woke up this morning at 11 o'clock, and I'm like, great, I have to work at 4, and I'm grumpy, I'm like still tired, and I made the commitment to record. And I was like, okay, sorry, I live over the dog park, and yeah. Say hi to the puppies. And so I was like, okay, well, fucking chill out, bitch. Like, you're the one that put yourself in this situation by going to bed late and then sleeping until 11, and you are the one that requires going outside and going for a walk. And so I made my coffee and went for a walk and put myself in the way of beauty and just kind of like listened to a podcast and just like was getting myself psyched up and just like snapping me back into reality. And and then so I like went for my walk, was out there for an hour, got some sun, felt great, and came back. And then that's when I ran into the guy that I used to date, and like the recruiting situation, and we were just like talking. He's like, how are you doing? Like, what's going on? And I told him, I was like, oh, I just started my podcast. And he was like, oh my God, that's awesome. And then he asked me about how marketing's going, and I was like, I mean, yeah, I'm recording, but I haven't posted it on my social media yet. I've started telling people, but there's still something in me that's like, I'm not ready to be judged by everybody. But I need to not focus on the people that don't get it, because they're not in my corner anyways. And I need to focus on the people that are going to watch this and that are going to be fucking fired up by this tangent that I'm going on from the heart, and then going after their dreams. Like, that's the whole point, right? Is to build an authentic community that gets it and follows along and is on their own path and letting that emerge. Good Lord. Sorry for that. I feel like I was just like preaching or something. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on this Wednesday, and like setting myself up for more success. So like, if I'm going to be recording Monday, Wednesday, Friday, instead of waiting for the last minute and recording like a few hours before I have to go into work, can I set myself up for success and like take it to that next level of commitment and be the badass podcaster that I want to be, and not just like half-assing it. Like, even with my Spanish, for example, I'm on day like 175, something like that, 176 with Duolingo. And I started that, ironically, with the guy who I ran into at the restaurant last night. And I was like actually speaking Spanish with him, and like he was encouraging me. He's like, okay, we're going to go out to a restaurant and you're going to have to order in Spanish. And instead of me just doing the bare minimum with my one fucking lesson on Duolingo, why am I not taking this opportunity to speak Spanish with the coworkers that I have that speak Spanish, or speaking Spanish with my tables, and just getting over the cringe and getting over that hump and just being fucking committed to it. Like, if I want to learn Spanish, then I need to fucking actually try, instead of doing the bare minimum like I was with work, just showing up and just kind of like being laissez-faire about it. And it's like, no, if I want to make the money, if I want to be part of the team and develop and take things to the next level, then I need to be committed. And even just like with this podcast just now, I was like, oh, I'm going to want to take a shower. Like, I'm all sweaty. I'm going to show up in my, like, I want to be put together. It's like, no. Like, yes, that is nice, but also I'm a human and I'm just going to show up as me as I am right now. And that is in my athletic wear with my cute earrings and my curls out and just going for it and like doing what I need to do to get it done, but also recognizing that this is not the level that I want to stay committed at. I want to take it to that next level. And I have the next 3 days off. I can cleanse the apartment, get her all clean and organized, and setting myself up for more success. Like, not like playing offense instead of defense. Like, there's a way to set yourself up for success in life. And what in your life do you need to set yourself up for success? Is it getting your laundry done? And not just getting it done, but putting it away? I'm calling myself out on that one. It's been sitting folded in my laundry basket, which then means my dirty clothes are staying on the floor in the bathroom. Or, like recording maybe the day before and then putting in the time and the effort to write a nice, thoughtful description and then posting instead of just like frantically trying to get it recorded and then hit upload. Yeah, I am proud of myself that I'm still recording and showing up regardless, but I want to show up with more commitment and more thoughtfulness to it, and not just having it feel like it's like this laissez-faire thing, because I don't want to treat it like a laissez-faire thing, because if I want this to be my full-time career, then I need to treat it like that, even though in the 3D it's not right now. And I can't say that I'm fully financially supported through my podcast yet. I haven't gotten the sponsorship yet. I haven't gotten my first subscriber yet. I haven't built the community and been out in public and gotten the chance to meet one of my listeners yet. But the universe always fucking gives you what you think and feel and act like. Not what you say, but what your energy is saying. So, step 1 was me recording and posting. Step 2 is putting a little more finesse into it. A little more thoughtfulness, a little more planned out. But I'm not trying to be calculated and planned out. I want to be speaking from the heart, but having a direction and like adjusting my sails to where I want to go. Okay. I feel like that's enough. I am going to pull a card because I like pulling cards and it's fun. So this is for the manifestation cards by Spirit Daughter. So let's see what comes up today. Which, that's funny. I'm like, should I just talk about the card that's on the bottom? It says, build foundation. I'm ready to take a step towards my dreams. Let's see. I'll shuffle and let's see what falls out, because that's how I typically do it. And it's going to be hilarious. If that card's meant to come out, it's going to come out. Oh, how hilarious. So 2 cards fell out. The listen to intuition. I already know the answer, which that's what the geckos were talking about, is intuition. At least according to this book, Animal Speak. So let's read it. This card is a reminder to listen to your intuition. When we tap into the universal knowledge held within each of us, our life's direction becomes clear. The answers appear in front of us, and we realize that everything we desire is already ours. When we trust our intuition, we confidently hear it and follow it, knowing that it will guide us to what our energy needs. This doesn't mean our intuition keeps everything easy or pain-free. It can sometimes lead us in the most challenging circumstances to help us grow. In working with intuition, we need to recognize that we do not live in a world that supports it. Most people want logical reasoning, explainable analysis, and evidence. Intuitive knowledge, though, does not work this way. Often we must follow it before having any proof that it is accurate. This trust is the making of leaps of faith, when we don't know where the road will lead or if it even exists. Living by your intuition asks you to get comfortable with saying, I don't have any evidence this is true, but I trust it. Or I don't know why this is. I just do. The world is not set up for these statements. But the more you take a chance to live by your intuition, the more you will help shift the collective systems. In working with this card, practice relying on your intuition more and more each day. Start by making small decisions from your intuition. You can even start a journal of intuitive hits and make notes on ones you followed and ones you ignored. Then write the outcome of each statement by start building evidence that your intuition was correct. As you begin to trust your intuition with small decisions, you'll be able to trust it with larger ones, knowing that your intuition comes from your higher consciousness, and this is a feeling. Be willing to listen to it and open your heart to its wisdom. And then the other card that fell out was transformation. I have the power to transform my thoughts, feelings, and energy. Remember how I was saying that the universe listen, and I literally just fucking opened the book to that page. That's hilarious. The universe listens to your energy, not what you're saying, because it's not always in alignment. So this card encourages you to transform in. This transformation may involve your thoughts, emotions, or energy. There is something that is asking to be shifted in your world, and you have the power to change anything you desire. Transformations come in all shapes and sizes. This card may be pointing to an emotion that no longer serves you. Are there feelings you want to shift? Emotions are simply energy. They can be transmuted with consciousness, attention, and effort. How can you transform the feelings that are not helping you manifest your intentions into ones that will? This card could also be pointing to thoughts that need transformation. Are there any mantras or statements you tell yourself that are not supporting your visions? How can you change them? We often have unconscious thoughts on repeat in the background of our mind. They form patterns that direct our behavior and can sabotage our dreams. We may have phrases we repeat over and over again in our mind that actually tell the universe we are not ready for our dreams. Notice if you need to apply the power of transformation to any thoughts that are hindering your intentions. This card may be pointing to an energetic transformation. We each carry a vibration throughout the day. We emit this frequency into the world and attract back similar energy. Like attracts like in the world of energy. In working with this card, feel the energy you carry. What are you emitting into the world? Is it the energy you want to attract? If the answer is no, then work on transforming your energy. Start with gratitude. It is the simplest way to shift your energy. From here, get to the root of what is forming your core vibration. What feelings, thoughts, beliefs, or patterns are contributing to your energy? How can you release, work through, or shift them to create your desired vibration? So, let's listen to our intuition and transform that shit. All right. that concludes today's podcast episode number 3. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. By the time I post this, it's going to be over for most of the world because I'm in Hawaii. And we're like the last time zone of the day, I believe. And I will see you all on Friday.